Hi, my name is Randy Neiswonger. Welcome to this episode of Community Beat. Today I have the pleasure of having Nancy Moser with us. Nancy, hi.
Hi.
Good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. Can you tell us what you do for our organization?
Sure. So I'm the Vice President for Compliance, Quality, Risk Management, and Medical Staff.
Wow, that is a huge job. Thank you for what you do. I know you oversee all of our hospital and our entire health system, so
Yes.
you have quite the role. Recently, we just had a survey by an outside agency, the Joint Commission, that checks for our deemed status. Can you tell us what deemed status is?
Sure. So deemed status is allows us to bill for Medicare and Medicaid services. You're surveyed with all of the conditions of participation under the Medicare standards.
Okay. And I know so last week we had quite an undertaking. Can you tell us a little bit about what they look at and maybe talk through the magnitude of the survey process?
Yes, absolutely. So we actually had 22 surveyor days. So that was about 5 surveyors per day here for 4 days. They actually look at about 275 standards, which range anywhere from leadership to patient care to patient rights to infection control. So it's quite robust. There's also about 50 standards of elements of performance under those standards, so that's important. And then when I was talking about deemed status, there's over 3,500 that are linked to those Medicare conditions of participation. So it's a very complex and robust survey.
Yeah, leave no stone unturned.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And we can feel really good about that. I mean, I think one of the things that, at least in my experiences, these collaborative processes that these outside agencies come in ultimately make us better. And I think that's really appreciated for me and for those that consume care here, our friends, families, and neighbors. It's important for them to know that we have an objective third party coming in and evaluating us on all of those things that you just mentioned, whether it's leadership, infection control practices. As we know, COVID was a big infection control concern for many years now.
Yes.
So it's important that we have those things.
Yes.
You know, along the lines of the survey, you know, one of the things that they left us with is really an identification of some really good areas that we excel at. Can you talk to those areas, or at least identify what those areas were, and maybe we can give them public acknowledgement through this?
Yes, absolutely. They were really impressed with our dedicated dialysis liaison. We do have an outside organization that does that, which is Fresenius, but the person was so well versed on our hospital and our practices here, so they were very impressed with that. We also had great environment of care and life safety issues. And that's very challenging. That can be all of your building codes and things like that, and they were very impressed with that. They also thought our perinatal navigating system, we have a perinatal navigator, and that went very well. Our palliative care outreach program was very impressive to them. And the management of titratable infusions, that was especially in ICU, and that was a great patient care episode. They also were very complimentary of our staff. They thought we had a wonderful culture. Almost daily they complimented us on the staff. We also have a pediatric physical therapy clinic that they recognized. Also recognized was closed ICUs with our intensivist multidisciplinary rounding, as well as our pharmacists, which conduct diabetes monitoring, and our blood bank, because you know blood bank dispensing is it can be a very high risk area, and so it's very key to patient safety.
Yeah.
And they were very impressed with it.
Well, and I think that, you know, we have engagement, and I think you mentioned it, engagement with our staff, you know, and our culture is one that really is conducive for that engagement. It was really nice to have that validated with those recognitions. So I really want to make sure that we pause, and I know from Nancy and I, thank you for those staff members that work in those environments and that have interfaced with the Joint Commission, because it really did put our best foot forward in those moments, and we know how critical that is.
Yes, absolutely. A big shout out to everyone that they toured the units.
Yeah.
They met many staff members and they were so impressed. So it was, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. And then, so the survey's over.
Yeah.
What next?
Well, probably in about a week, we'll receive our final report from the Joint Commission. And at that point, we'll take a look at it and we'll start doing our plan of correction for any kind of deficiencies that might be noted. And we'll go from there.
That's wonderful. And so then we submit that and we wait another 3 years until they come out, basically, right?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yes, yep.
Well, again, I just want to make sure we paused. We give acknowledgement to those that, that interfaced with the Joint Commission, and just tell everybody what a debt of gratitude and appreciation that Nancy and I have, along with the other leaders that participated, to all of you that uphold these very rigorous standards on a daily basis. So with a great deal of sincerity, thank you for everything that you do for our organization. It was recognized last week, and we'll continue to do the great work. And we'll see you guys next time on the next episode of Community Beat.